All right, welcome back to the show. We're on the right one. Yes, we are. Okay, so welcome back to the show. Hello, how are you guys doing? You guys are watching Down for the Count over here on YouTube. If you are listening to us over on Spotify, appreciate it. Okay, Jonelle is here, so hello to you, Jonelle. All right. Today we're gonna go over a couple topics. We're gonna cover Soraya and her, no longer being a part of AEW. We're gonna talk about it briefly. Um, we're gonna talk about Gail Kim, her departure, as well as the other departures from TNA. It seems like they completely removed a lot of people from TNA, like at least two or three other people that were working there. They've replaced them with other people, which I'll explain in a minute. I'm going to briefly go over Stephanie's Place. That episode with CM Punk debuted yesterday. We're going to talk about Mandy Rose and her comments on Twitter. And we're also going to talk about Swerve Strickland and his Vlad TV interview. And this will also lead into the main topic, which is representation and what does that truly mean and look like. Okay. So first things first, let's talk about Soraya. So if you don't know who Soraya is Paige. Paige was formerly a part of AEW, and obviously she got her start in WWE. She is no longer a part of the company, and she is on her podcast talking about her time in AEW and her love for WWE. So, Nicole, you want to start off with this part?
Sure. So I did get to watch a bit of the podcast itself. I never finished it, but the gist is that she finished out her contract with AEW, and she decided to not get it renewed because she felt as though one of her big reasons for going to AEW in general and like having that platform is to obviously like help her brother get his foot in the door with American audiences. Obviously that didn't work out. But she said that, and then also she said that she felt like she did all that she could over there, and that she didn't feel like there was nothing for her to fit her in wise in the women's division. She felt like if she got put into a storyline or something at this point in time, she felt like she would be taking an opportunity from someone else,
Oh, that's cool.
which she should talk
Very
to.
selfless.
You know what? I'm not going to go there today. So
Mm.
anyway, so I'm very, very like introspective, and then she's talking about like obviously she really enjoyed her time there, very grateful for Tony for giving her a second opportunity to wrestle, but then she also said for that she loved WWE, loved her time there, appreciated them because they helped her get through a lot of many rough spots in her life, and then she also said that if they asked, she would go back.
Hmm. Well, Alexis, how do you feel about that?
Um, I mean, I really have no feeling toward this woman either way. But I'll be nice if Nicole's
I
gonna
would
be
like
nice.
for you to be nice. I would like for you to be nice.
Yeah.
Nice, mom. I promise. Um, I mean, okay, good for her. She tried to help her brother. I still don't know who her brother is. Um, I don't see if she comes back and works behind the scenes. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I don't want to see her on my TV because we have enough women on the roster that we don't need Paige in a storyline. She can work with the girls in the back, but I don't want to see her on TV.
I do think she should go back as like a coach or something though. I
um,
do agree with that.
I am okay with her doing either. I don't necessarily have a problem with Paige per se. Um, it just seems like she makes decisions that aren't exactly the greatest when it comes to certain things outside of WWE, or wrestling in general. But to be honest, who doesn't? So I can't really hold that against her too much. I will say I don't mind her being there. I feel like if she does come back to the E, that puts opportunities for more women to be seen on television. And I know that that sounds a little crazy, but Paige, she's got a little bit more rapport and a little bit more pull now than she did back then. And so do some of the other girls in the E. Um, and Triple H will listen. This is a different time. And if she is willing to not take away from the women in AEW right now, she's not going to turn around and come into the E and do and take away from them either. So I feel like if she decides to come back, it'll be kind of like what we're seeing now with the men. You've got so many guys, most of them are not in the title scene. The top guys, like Seth, like Roman, CM Punk, they're not in title scenes. They're not getting championships. You very well could have chosen one of them to go after Gunther, but they gave that to Jey Uso. So the same thing could happen in the women's division, and it should happen in the women's division. And with her being there, it just adds to the star power of what could possibly happen in terms of a storyline in the women's division. So I'm fine with her coming back. And because she's being selfless in AEW, I expect the same behavior in WWE. I don't think she's going to switch it up because she's in the E. To add more to what Nicole is talking about, she did talk about in depth about why she went to AEW. It was no animosity with WWE and her. She went there because of her brother. They offered her money, more money. Well, she didn't know how much they were going to offer her at WWE. She didn't get that far with them, she said, but she did get offered a decent payout for AEW, and she did it for her brother, which is nice. Good for her. I'm glad it wasn't like what everybody was trying to make it out to be. And I'm just happy that she's happy. As long as she's happy, I'm happy. And that's just where we're going to leave it. So,
Also, and then we'll move on from Soraya. Her book is out. I think it's called Hell in High Boots or something like that. Um, if you type in her name anywhere, it'll pop up. If you do have Spotify Premium, it is under audiobooks. And I'm
mm,
probably going to start listening to it tomorrow.
yeah, because she got some juicy tidbits in there.
Yeah.
I might buy that book. I got a couple of credits. I know I ain't supposed to be using Audible right now, but I got the damn credits. They done already been paid for. I'm gonna get my books. So
Yeah.
shout out to you, Soraya. I hope whatever you decide to do, I hope you do well. She did what every other wrestler does or every other person does, and she started a
Honestly,
podcast.
she's doing what a lot of the men vets should be doing low fucking key, to be
Like
honest.
sitting up on a podcast, just
Talking
doing
about
that.
the
Yeah, just shooting shit. Now, okay, so let's go to Mandy Rose. Mandy is on the internet being stupid again, and I don't. I, I'm so sorry. That came out so wrong, and I'm so sorry. But it was stupid. And whoever tweeted her was stupid. You're stupid. I'm sorry. I hate to say that about people, but it was dumb. So let's start at the beginning. Mandy Rose got tweeted by a fan that is really crazy. WWE isn't acknowledging her for being the first double champion in NXT. That's because she wasn't, babe. She
wasn't.
wasn't.
The,
Okay? Let's talk about what happened.
hold
When
on,
Miko Satomura came to NXT, that was a unification match.
Alexa. What's the definition of unification?
The act of unifying or uniting is known as unification. It is the process of entities together to form a unified whole. This term can refer to the union of different individuals, groups, or countries. The word unification can be used to describe both the process of uniting and the result of uniting different things. By the way, I am trying to respond from the right place.
Alexa, stop.
Thanks, Alexa. Appreciate that. Unification means to bring things together into one. Okay? that does not qualify as a double champion.
She
She has
did
never
mention.
she has never defended the UK championship ever.
Yep.
Never. So I'm sorry, but that's not the same thing as what Stephanie's doing. Okay?
And
Stephanie is champion in two places in her own division. She's a
and it,
mid card champ and she's the NXT women's title. North American champ, NXT women's champ.
it's not the same thing that Paige did. Yes, Paige did have the NXT women's title, but she also had the Divas title. But that was two separate shows. It's like it's not like Charlotte who okay, let's break this down simple. Charlotte is considered a double champion because at one point, no, she never had two
No,
belts.
it was
Mm-mm.
Becky.
It was
Becky.
Becky.
And that's what they said. They said the last woman who was a double champion was Becky Lynch.
And she was.
You became NXT Women's Champion after Becky, because I believe she was either just got the fucking pop that. No, she already popped that baby out,
Mm,
and she was semi post. Or she just came back or some shit like that. You unified two titles. I don't know what in that fucking over rotted, bleached head of yours that you can't comprehend.
Because
I'm
she's stupid.
so
She's
And
fucking
I mean that in the best possible way.
I don't. You're fucking stupid, Mandy. Like, she is so bitter about everything that has happened with her because it's just like she lives for these fans. Hold on a second.
Diva
That'll be
stands need to be stopped.
right.
all these people are fucking writing for her. And then she's like, oh, I'm a dominant champion. What the fuck did you do? Because the last thing I remember, you always cheated. You always used GG. You always used JC. Like, you always had to find some little shit way. People wanted her to beat Asuka's record as NXT Women's Champion. Are you fucking serious on this shit right now? She
You know what? The
like
kayfabe part, I'm not necessarily mad about because like shit happens, right? And that's how they decided to book her. So fine, you want to live on that hill, die on it. My biggest issue is that you're not being smart, and I know that you're smarter than that, and I don't understand why you are feeding into this bullshit. I don't understand because nothing about you unifying the NXT UK Championship and the NXT Women's Championship makes you a double champion. If that's the case, then so was Ilya. Didn't he unify the titles?
I thought it was Braun.
Oh, it's Braun Breaker who did it?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, doesn't that make Braun Breaker a double champ too? Like,
who were the last women to hold the NXT and the WWE main roster titles before they became one?
oh, excuse me.
Are you
What you
talking
say?
about the SmackDown and the Raw?
No,
Yeah,
like
Yeah, it was Becky.
Becky held
And they
one.
said it on commentary. It was Becky. Becky was
No,
the
she's talking
last.
about those the branded titles. So before they switched over to the gold belt for the women and the new WWE championship, she's saying who held the Raw title and who held the SmackDown title. Rhea
NXT.
held the SmackDown title,
And then
and
Bianca
Asuka
had the other
had
one.
yeah, but no, it was Asuka.
But who were the bitches that unified the main roster tag titles and the NXT women's tag titles?
It was
Because
Unholy
Unholy
and
Union and
wasn't
who?
it Shayna and that girl?
Zoe,
No, Zoe never held the titles with Shayna.
It was somebody weird. It was
Nia.
somebody like that.
Was it what? It wasn't Nia and Shayna that unified the titles.
I don't know, but so if that's the case, then that means that she's dumb.
Shayna was one of them. I don't remember the other one, but Shayna was one of them.
Like this woman is so dumb, and the only way she can stay relevant to wrestling fans anymore because people have moved on from her. They're, if anything,
I'm gonna look
Tiffany,
that up.
like she is so dumb. She's willing to do anything to get a shred of a and people buy into this shit. And it's like she's mad because she got fired. But sweetie, you were doing something that was in violation of your contract, and more than likely, I think your weird ass little husband had something to do with them learning about them pictures in the first place. Like you really thought you could get away with that shit, and now you just mad on the internet on OnlyFans. And no offense to anybody on OnlyFans, like if you got to do it. But she's on here saying, "Oh, I'm making more money on OnlyFans than I ever did in WWE." Yeah, because you're bending over and showing your asshole, lady. Like, way to fucking go. Like, way to fucking move up the corporate ladder or some shit. Like, she's so dumb. Her and Carmella should be on a podcast together because they could talk about how badly WWE fucked them over. Apparently, Carmella can whine about how
Oh,
I'm
Ron, it
not.
was Rhonda. It was Rhonda and Shayna.
Ronda and
That's who it
Shayna.
Damn,
was.
you were right that it was Shayna. That was
I
yeah.
specifically because I remember I was so pissed off that they lost, and I remember it was Shayna because I remember being mad at Shayna, and I couldn't remember who else I was mad at. But I remember being pissed off. I'm still pissed off about that shit. It's fucking ridiculous.
Didn't see them right.
Sorry.
They said it. They unified the titles.
I just don't. I didn't get it. I was just like, girl, it's okay, And you know what? I get it. Like you feel like WWE don't acknowledge you, and at this point, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or mean, but they have no reason to. They didn't say anything. They haven't talked about the lineage of the NXT Women's Championship. And I remember after you left, they've shown your picture and said your name on camera many of times. Don't start the narrative that, oh, they don't want to talk about me because they don't like what I'm saying. I don't think they really care, babe. I really don't. You're not the end all be all. And I'm just tired of the same drama filled bullshit over and over and over again. I'm just sick of it. It doesn't need to go this far. And I need you to just chill. That's what I need you to do. Stop letting these fans gas you up into saying something dumb because this was stupid.
She gets off on it, so that doesn't really help. This she gets satisfaction from people kissing her ass and making her out to be this good. She wasn't that good of a wrestler. And I can't believe I'm saying this. If y'all want someone new who has that character and can actually wrestle, fucking Tiffany Stratton is right fucking there.
Well, she got a point there.
And then she even
She
tried to
does.
say he stole something, like some stupid catchphrase that she said one time, and Tiffany's like, "Are you for real right now?"
It's not
Like,
even her catchphrase. Like, what are you talking about?
It's from Birdman.
It's
yeah,
Birdman's catchphrase. Like,
she's like, "Oh, she's using my."
girl, you stole it from him. The irony. Fucking.
Irony.
He's been using
It's.
wrestling for decades. Like, I don't like her. Can we move on? Because I'm about to bitch her out.
Yeah. We're moving on right now. We're moving into Gail Kim and TNA because what a
What's
lot of
going on
people
is going over there.
I
Oh,
they all I have is the departures. I went to Wrestle Talk because I wanted to see exactly what who left and like what they were talking about. So there were multiple people who were taken out of TNA. There were multiple people. So hold on, let me get this fixed. Stupid
all
thing.
I know is Dreamer is now head of talent relations.
Yes,
Ugh.
he took what Gail Kim's job was. I'm gonna get to it. Just give me a second. So
Sick.
there are a number of backstage TNA wrestling firings that have been confirmed. And this was confirmed by Fightful Select and by PW Insider. PW Insider was the one who broke the story. Fightful confirmed it, and then the rest of the blogs took it and gave you all of it. So they've obtained the email that TNA Wrestling sent out, and that's what I was reading today, and I think this will help y'all understand what's happening here. Departing our leadership team are Ariel Schnerner, I think I said her name, Gail Kim, Rob Klingman, and Michael Schuenko. As a long-term Anthem employee, Ariel has played an important role in growing our Anthem properties from his work to Fight Network and is most recently focused on TNA. Ariel has been instrumental in building our storylines and growing our audiences. Gail has had a long and storied career in TNA as both a champion wrestler and a part of TNA leadership team. Gail has been a powerful presence in the locker room, supporting our talent and great performances. Rob Klingman, he was a part of sales. He departs as the chief revenue officer, and in digital, Michael Schuenko will be departing the organization on April 30th. In addition to these leaderships, we also say goodbye to Karen Clevitt, Sebastian Destrani, Rami Glazer, and Rafael Morifi. Our company is built on strength and dedication in our team, and these changes do not diminish the value of the contributions affected, of those affected. Now, Gail Kim has worked with the company for almost 15 years. Okay. And Gail released a statement, and I have to find it. So give me a second.
That's nasty. And I don't even like that lady, but that's nasty.
So it wasn't. Go ahead, Alexis.
I agree with Nicole. Like, y'all know we have no love for Gail Kim on this. Well, okay. To me, Gail Kim was one of the OG knockouts. Granted, there's a lot of women who were in there before, but she brought attention to the project or to the product. And fucking her and Awesome Kong, you know, they would put on a solid match no matter what, no matter what. And even though we don't like her, what she did for the TNA women's division, that meant a lot, especially at a time where women wrestling still wasn't being taken as seriously. So for them to do this to her after putting her blood, sweat, tears to this shit, that is not, that's no. That's fucked up.
According to Gail Kim's Instagram, her statement says the following. She said, I just wanted to say thank you to the fans, friends, and especially my peers for all the support you have given me over the last few days. I've received such an enormous amount of love, and it really has helped process this change for me. More than anything, I'm grateful for all the years and opportunities I was given to help build something I always dreamed of. The Knockouts division is and will always be my heart and all the women who were a part of it. Thanks to the incredibly hardworking and passionate TNA talent and crew that I have had the pleasure of working with. This will not end my passion or my love for wrestling, and this is not the end of Gail Kim in the wrestling world. You don't put in 17 years in one company and stop when you are this passionate. Now, she said that her future plans are going to involve some self-care and some preparation for what lies ahead of her. What lies ahead for her is largely unknown. They don't know if she's gonna, switch over to back to WWE or go to AEW. But right now, that's all up in the wind. For now, she is gone from AEW. I mean, from TNA, and it doesn't look like she has gone anywhere in terms of um, someone picking her up or her working for someone else. That isn't in the cards right now.
That, wow.
There were some things that was mentioned on WrestleZone that I found in the article earlier, and I went back and got it. I'm gonna read to you what it says. It said yesterday TNA let go of several backstage figures, including producer and head of talent relations Gail Kim, and TNA's executive producer and head of creative Ariel Schnerner. I can't say his name right, so I'm sorry. Many talents have expressed their displeasure of Gail Kim leaving publicly. Even former knockout champion Tasha Steelz writing, "Get the fuck out of here." Now, according to Fightful Select, similar beliefs were held behind the scenes. Per a new report, the firing of Gail Kim was met with mixed emotions, such as disbelief, anger, and shock from the talents. For one unnamed star, it swayed them to exit the company upon the expiration of their contract. And even though they would rather than stay, they're leaving. They didn't say which of these talents has decided to do that. Meanwhile, some talents are reportedly fearful that they too could be released by the company. One source of Fightful appeared unsurprised by Kim's departure, as she was said to be very outspoken in the creative department. This allegedly caused her to sometimes butt heads with those in control. For another person, this was a positive thing, noting that's what you want out of a person in her position, someone who will advocate for a better show. Despite the talent relations side, Kim did not officially hold creative power in TNA. Still, the outlets indicate that she has been heavily pushing for the Knockouts divisions to do more after the 2024 exit of the TNA president, Scott D'Amore. Now, they have a little addendum of what they believe is the reason why she left. According to sources of Fightful, additionally claimed that the decision to fire Kim came from the president, Carlos Silva. As for the reason for letting Kim go, Silva apparently cited changes in the company. In Kim's place, Tommy Dreamer was reportedly appointed as the new head of talent relations. Meanwhile, Hunter Delirious Johnston will now serve as the head of TNA Creative. Following her TNA departure, Kim is a free agent with a no non compete clause, which means she can go wherever she wants to go. As such, she is expected to gain interest across the pro wrestling world, which she plans to continue working in. So, to make it very clear, she was let go due to the president believing that they wanted to do some changes, and that's what they decided to do. Um, he has released a statement. That statement came PW Insider. It says, today we announced a restructuring resulting in staffing changes. These decisions are always difficult, but it became apparent that we needed to make adjustments to our business strategies. We are grateful to those who work here and thankful for them of years of dedication to the company. And finally, we want our fans to know we are committed to producing the absolute best product and the highest quality content that we can, and we appreciate their continued support. So that is all the information that is readily available to us at this current time. And I'm gonna let Nicole go first, and then Alexis, you can go after her, and I will round this part out.
Are you
Nicole,
going first? Oh, I thought you were going first, Alexis. My bad. Oh my
Nicole,
God,
you
cat.
there?
Please. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear Ori.
Okay. Um, I just obviously, I mean,
Hello.
hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my
Sorry.
I'm gonna put my headphones in.
Sorry. I lost the sound, so my apologies. Go ahead.
Now she's putting her headphones on.
No worries. I got you. I couldn't hear
Can you
nothing. I
guys
was
hear
like,
me?
yeah. I was like, what did I do? Like, what did
Okay, I was just confused because I thought you guys could hear me, and then it was just like nothing. Oh God, this flight went up. Um, I mean, obviously, and this is just like a shitty thing of life. Obviously, when you restructure within a company, especially when you get new top people, say like a new CEO or a new CFO, the company, and there's always going to be some restructuring, and that's always going to include layoffs of some
Mm-hmm.
time and positions being combined and positions being taken away. um my company, I will not say my company's name on here, went through a very recent transition like that within the past, I want to say, year. There's been a lot of restructuring, a lot of um a lot of budget cuts for certain things, and restructuring like how funds get purposed for certain things and watching spending and um trying to hit certain markers. So I do, on a business standpoint, understand it. Like fundamentally, I completely understand it. But on the other hand, someone like Gail Kim, who did what she did for not only the knockouts division, but in front of camera, behind the camera, um, like she did so much for wrestling. And you know who I think said about their contract? I feel like that's Tessa.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was probably Tessa. Um, which she should, because Gail really helped that bitch out.
She a better person than me. I would have made her suffer.
So she should have been like, okay, well, after this, I'm skedaddling, like I'm wrapping it up.
Where's she gonna
Um,
go?
you know that bitch don't care. And she gonna find a will and a way. I'll give her that. If there is a will,
There's a way.
there's a way. And she, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't mad at it. Um, still racist piece of shit, but
Mm-hmm.
resourceful. Um, so yeah. On the flip side, Gail contributed way too much to not only TNA as a whole, especially when they were in the gutter, like
Mm-hmm.
the gutter, like
Mm-hmm.
the deepest gutter in the pit of hell, like right in Hitler's basement in his house in hell.
My
Low.
God, today. Jesus.
Pits of hell. But she and Awesome Kong made that, and Mickey try to make that shit work.
Yeah.
And try to make that shit work. I'll give him that. Try to make that shit work. So with that, she is someone I would have kept her and just repositioned her title.
Yeah.
I would have just like I would have kept her, but she probably low key, and again, like this is no shade. I would have probably did like a slight demotion. Because
Fair.
I want to know how much Tommy Dreamer is making, to be honest.
I agree.
I need to know how much Tommy Dreamer is making, because he got to have a decent sized check from Busted Open.
I don't think he should have been the one to replace her, to be honest.
I have a lot of thoughts. None of them are great.
And it seems like there are no women in charge back there anymore.
It's not.
And they said it that she's very vocal about the knockouts division doing more, because even I've noticed how much of a backseat the knockouts division has taken lately. And I'm just like, I don't know if I like that. When I call you, you're finished. That was
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the most cohesive thought I can have about that at the moment. And and I mean, I hopefully, and again, like I think she should hopefully get picked up by somebody.
yeah,
If I was Hunter, because obviously you can't fucking write everything.
right.
Hire Gail and have her be in charge of the women's division. And be like, you can do, he's like, I'm gonna give you X amount of time frame, these many pay-per-view main events, this da da da, this mania events, blah 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 blah. And then you can use whoever in them, just make it work. And let her go.
I agree.
That's what I would do. I should just go to this point for a second and hit this point and then wrap it up. Then that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got now. Just make it make sense. Get some asses in seats. Pop off. And you
Yeah.
can use whoever you want.
Alexis, what do you think?
I would like to say we called this shit the second we heard that Scott D'Amore was let go from TNA.
We did.
He called this shit
Yep, I
because
said they're gonna start firing the rest of his folks.
Yes.
and you know what the shitty thing is it's not like Vince's boy group. Like these were like actual people who cared about TNA and wanted to see it good. But the second that story broke, that fucking Scott D'Amore, and I'm sorry I'm cussing a lot tonight, but like Scott D'Amore was let go, we said that people are going to start leaving TNA, whether their contracts are going to expire or they're going to, they're going to get let go. And from the amount of talent that they have lost between then and now, like they let Mike Bailey's gone, Speedball's gone, fucking Hammerstone's gone. He said
PCO's
he
left.
blows my mind because you could have done so much with Hammer, but I'm a Hammerstone fangirl, so I'm gonna always ride for my guy. All the talent that has left. Just Giselle Shaw left. Well, no, the Hardys are back, but like we called this shit, and you let someone, and I
I
need
don't
to look.
ever want him to ever make a comment about Paul Heyman owing him money. The fuck
Mm,
out of here.
mm.
I just he.
I don't want to hear that story ever fucking again.
And
I'm
someone
being dead ass. I don't care if they call you on Dark Side of the Ring for the 30 million fucking gazillion time. I don't care if Dave LaGreca is like having a fucking aneurysm because some weird thought and theory about it popped into his head and he has to scream about it for 10 minutes. Never in your life do not talk about it.
and this is coming from somebody who used to respect the hell out of Tommy Dreamer. Like he something about this don't sit right with me. Like something in the pit of my stomach says something major is going on back there and we are not getting the full story because Gail's going to be the one who always Gail is making herself look like the bigger person. So no matter what comes out about this, which is a smart move because Gail Kim has the habit of putting her fucking foot in her mouth and her nose where it doesn't belong. First off, but that's besides the point. That can be done on a later show. Something is not sitting right with me. And I'm telling y'all right now on March 27th, 2025 at 9:28 p.m. This is a Thursday we're recording this. There is something major is going behind that scene. Like I need to look up their parent company, Anthem Sports. Maybe something's going on there, but I'm telling y'all, there is something in my soul and my stomach that's saying something is going on back there and it's not good.
I will say this. I don't like it. They're saying that Gail was very vocal about the knockouts division, that she wanted more for them. She expected more of Anthem and of TNA as a whole, because TNA has always given the knockouts division proper time. They've always been very, very good at making that knockouts division be a central focus while still making their men be a central focus. They knew how to work that simultaneously. Nobody didn't get time. Now, there were some wrestlers who deserved more time than others, but that was different. We're talking about the divisions as a whole. I don't like this either. Gail Kim being gone makes it very difficult for those women to have an advocate in that executive room. And Nicole says it a lot, and so does Alexis. And I'll reiterate, you cannot have full representation without having that representation at every level. And we will go into that deeper when we get to the main topic. So I'm going to leave this here to y'all. Y'all are listening, y'all are watching. So you tell us in the comments what you think about Gail Kim getting fired and the previous topics we've covered with Mandy, Soraya, and now we're going to move into something happy. Ricochet and his wife Samantha got married over the weekend. They had a beautiful ceremony from what I saw. They had fireworks and all kind of shit. They seemed to have a wonderful time. And I was just happy that they got married and they enjoyed themselves. So congratulations to both of you. And I hope you
Oh,
have a wonderful, wonderful honeymoon and just live in wedded bliss. Um,
period.
Stephanie's Stephanie's Place came on this week.
I
I
gotta
didn't
finish that.
I didn't get the chance to watch it, but Nicole got to watch it. So whatever little bit you can give on it, we can do that, and then we'll get into Swerve. So Alexis can say her piece about Swerve before she bounces.
No, I
Um,
can't wait. So I'm
You
um,
good?
f- yeah. So for Stephanie's Place, so basically, Stephanie is so funny. Like she's just a funny bitch. She's like this. The episode starts off talking about returns and how like impactful and how groundbreaking, like and how like it could literally change the trajectory of your career.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just, and then also because it was coincided with her returning to WWE in some capacity, so she like talked about a little bit about herself and like her stepping away and like showed her because she hadn't even been inside like their new offices. She had
Mm-hmm.
not been in there yet.
What?
She had not been in there yet at all. She since they finished finished construction, fully moved in, all that, she has not seen it till last time she seen it, she was walking around it while it was in construction and they were finalizing building details.
I thought she had already saw it. That's crazy.
No. So she's like obvious, she's like emotional, and because one of the first things that they put in there was that big ass Andre wall.
Oh.
So that was like literally the last and first thing she saw, like leaving and coming back. And then she like talked to, and then they talked about Punk's history within the company and how his not so great history with the company, and then saying like if there was ever someone, they literally talked about his MMA career and like how he shit the bed in that, and talked about, and then they even talked about like if there was one person who you would say 100% honest to God, hand to chest, that would never come back here, they were like it was the one, and it would not have been what it is, just would have been it is what it is at that point. But then he talked about like how this came about, and then because they filmed this during SummerSlam weekend.
Oh.
So this episode's Punk was filmed during SummerSlam, so it talked about like him getting injured and him like coming back because this was like his first like official match back, and then um he was like at home or something, and then I like stopped halfway, so I have to finish it, but I didn't see anything really past that.
That sounds like it's very interesting. I actually will enjoy that. I might watch that.
Yeah, I wanted to watch. I no shade to Punk. I wished it was someone else. The first one was so low key.
I
Like,
think
and this is
that
no shade. I haven't fully finished the episode, but that's like a good episode 2 or 3.
I think
Like
I
Ah,
type of episode. Like it wasn't like bad, but it's like
just the first episode.
yeah, like
You
I
guys can
wanted
see
something,
it.
and this is what I felt about Cody, and like Cody was the perfect one. Number 2 was fine because I'm like that's not starting off. And this might be I would have started off with the Charlotte episode.
Yeah, or Romans.
No, I'm gonna go last with Romans because
I
I'm
think
gonna do
Cody's
the
gonna be the last one for
no.
them.
Cody's the next one.
Oh, Cody's up next.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, it
Mm,
was so that's what I said. I was like, actually, I would have left. I would have left. Cody would have been 1 or 2. Him and Charlotte, I would mess around with that till last minute. So both of them are 1 and 2. This CM Punk episode would be my third one. I feel like that would be my third one.
mm.
The next one would be the Stone Cold one. And then the last one is the Bloodline or Roman one.
I would have went with Roman first because the game is out, and I could have used that to help market the game even further.
Oh,
So
I see what you did there.
I would
Okay,
have
then
put
I would
Roman
have
first.
had then you gotta put Stone Cold last then.
Yeah. And I just would have put Cody last because it's gonna be after Mania. I think that one comes out after Mania. That last one. I don't know. Yes. Okay. Anywhoosies. Alexis,
Yeah, I'm
we're
here.
gonna.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. We're gonna move on, but I'm gonna watch that episode. I encourage you guys to watch it. I like watching that type of behind the scenes content where it's not giving us too much, but we get to hear from the wrestler and the insight. And I really like Stephanie, so I'm gonna watch it. I hope you guys watch it. It comes.
I've seen clips of the show, and I love to see the comments under it because people are like, "This is what maturity looks like when it's anything with like Punk and Hunter or her and Punk." And I think that's why they went with that episode. It's just showing like how time can change and all that kind of jazz. I mean, I think it's great because Stephanie called his ass out big time, but I'll watch it. It looks good. And I mean, honestly, if Triple H and CM Punk can kiss and make up, maybe some people can actually mature themselves, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So it is going to be some episodes after Mania. Roman's episode is the 30th. That's the 6th episode. So you've got Cody is next. He's going to be, that episode debuts on the 2nd of April. Rhea is on the 3rd episode. It's
I
April
forgot
9th.
Rhea's in this.
And April 16th is Stone Cold's episode. That's the 4th episode.
Okay,
The
so
5th
that's Mania
episode,
week.
right, the 5th episode is Charlotte's. And that happens 3
Oh.
days after Mania. That's when Charlotte's episode debuts. Then Roman's episode debuts on the 30th. That's the 6th episode. On the 7th episode, which happens to be on May 7th, that is Pat McAfee's episode. And then on the 8th, you get The Undertaker. On the 8th episode is The Undertaker. The 9th episode is Triple H's episode. And then the final episode is actually John Cena's episode. And that happens on May 28th. So
I
she's
know
got
she
a
had all them episodes.
she's got a 10 episode order here for her show. And I want to watch it because I want her to do more of these. And I would love to see who else she would have on the second season. I want her to do some NXT people, you know.
That is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you know who I would really want her to do in NXT low key?
Who?
I would want her to do Stephanie.
Oh, Bakura, yeah.
I would
And
want her
Julia.
I would want her to do to put they can be in the same episode. I would
Yeah.
put them in the same episode. And then I would do Javon Evans.
Yes. You could do one episode with all those NXT people in it. Is her episodes an hour?
No. Maybe 45. A
Yeah, like
smooth
45
45.
minutes?
But
Okay.
I feel like I don't think all the episodes are the same time length though.
Mm.
Since it's like exclusively like on a streaming service.
Mm-hmm. They vary by the superstar, I guess.
I think that's what it is because that Roman one, that one's gonna be over an hour. It
It's
just
got to be an
has to.
hour. Yeah. That's cool though. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm gonna watch it because I want her to get another season, and I like that. All right, y'all. So we're gonna move into the Swerve Strickland part of this show. Now, I want to make sure you guys understand that this interview is on Vlad TV. Number one, I don't fucking like Vlad. Okay, and I 100% believe that man uses a lot of Black culture to further line his own pockets, and he refuses to pay people what they rightfully deserve. And I'm going to get into Vlad in a second and why I feel like this is very interesting that he took his Black ass to Vlad TV for an interview. Okay. Just want to make that very clear. Swerve Strickland had an interview with Vlad TV. It's about an hour and 57 minutes long. It is behind a members only paywall. So, in order for you to see the full interview and hear what he really said in its full context, he's got to pay the membership fee. I ain't giving Vlad TV a motherfucking thing. Okay? So, apologies to us for not having watched the whole show. We're not going to talk about his interview. We can talk about the clip we saw and what AJ Francis had to say in response to some of the things that he's heard about this. Okay? And I want to go a little deeper into this part of it because this is going to lead us into the representation conversation that we need to have. And I also want to make something very clear. Representation doesn't always mean just Black people being seen. Representation talks about LGBTQ plus people, women in general, everything. It's a very encompassing term. So when you hear representation, try not to correlate it to just Black people. It's kind of the way some of y'all do the acronym DEI. Y'all seem to think that acronym means Black. It doesn't. Okay. Some of y'all are finding that out because you're sitting your ass at home and ain't got no job. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anywhoosies. So Strickland had an interview with Vlad TV. And in that interview, somebody clipped it and put on there. It was in response to Booker T saying that he never felt disrespected or, you know, there was no animosity while he was working for WWE. He was happy. So Strickland's response to that was not when your boss is calling you, when the old man is calling you the N-word. Now, I didn't know how we got to this conversation or where that conversation led. We're not going to know because we ain't watching that clip. But apparently it was brought up about AJ Francis being aggressive in this particular conversation as well. And AJ Francis addressed it over on another podcast, which let me see if I can pull that receipt from Twitter and you guys can see it for yourselves. Because I think I saved it and bookmarked it. I thought I did. Book my life, man.
Who who even is this Vlad TV guy? I've never heard of him. Like any wrestling circles, I've never heard anyone even talk about this guy.
He's
Yeah.
not. He's a he's a hip hop slash Black culture vulture interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets a lot. He's the one who has like a lot of those interviews that go viral because a rapper or somebody famous is saying something ridiculously out of pocket with
Uh,
the straightest face, like all of
It's
those stuff that like those clips that Boozy always goes popular, ends up
yeah.
on Shade Room. That's from Vlad TV. Like that's,
Um
yeah, like shit like that.
and you got the stuff like Aries Spears says, like I'll to give you an example so you can kind of understand what's happening here is Vlad TV wanted to get Marlon Wayans on his podcast. This was around the time where Marlon's daughter had transitioned to being a male, so he is now a male, and Marlon was supporting his son. He posted a picture of him in like a mask that had the LGBTQ plus flag on it, and had a caption in his Instagram talking about supporting his son and being an ally to the LGBTQ plus community. How he had to overcome his own emotions with losing his daughter and now having to gain a son. He had a lot that he spoke about. And if you really followed Marlon, you'll hear him say he went through all of the rhetoric. At first, he was very ignorant about it. He didn't understand. and then he came around and he loves his son no matter what. Okay. Vlad
Like,
wanted to get Marlon on his show. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no.
He wanted Marlon
No.
on his show, and he wanted Marlon to come on there. And Marlon gave him a price. Vlad didn't like the price. So instead of Vlad handling the business behind the scenes, he had Aries Spears come on the show and then told Aries Spears about it and had Aries Spears commenting on Marlon Wayans. Now, I'm going to ask you something, Alexis, and this is not to be disrespectful, but I want some context. Do you know who Aries Spears is?
Sorry, he's a comedian. He's from Mad TV, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you understand where Aries Spears is career-wise right now, and you know who Marlon Wayans is, and you've seen Marlon recently in something, okay? Whether it was on a TV show, movie cameo, whatever. Now, Aries Spears hasn't done anything worthwhile outside of comedy for the last 10 years, besides get in trouble and get canceled, okay?
Yeah,
Marlon Wayans, right.
I-
Marlon Wayans, however, has gone viral so much so to the point where there is a new order for the new scary movie that's coming out, and they've regained the rights and control to their own movie franchise. Marlon Wayans also recently just starred on his brother's sitcom that's on CBS with Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. He was just on the most recent episode. I haven't seen Aries Spears on TV in anywhere other than Vlad TV. Let's just give you some context here, okay? You go, yeah, you go, and you're like, well, he wants this amount of money, and Aries Spears is like, fucking Marlon Wayans wants what? What the fuck? Like, that nigga ain't worth that money, and it's like, neither are you. You're barely worth the money Vlad paid you to get on the show. Okay? Now, after this, Vlad got in trouble again because he was on Twitter having a conversation about black topics, and a black woman told Vlad he didn't have the credentials to have this conversation. He needed to mind his business. He decided to pull her name, find out where she worked, and said, I think it was Princeton the lady worked for. I don't think your job would take too kindly to you being racist on the platform, because this black woman felt like he shouldn't have been having the conversation about black topics on Twitter. So he threatened to get the woman fired. And then he rescinded that and came back and went, oh, I wasn't trying to get her fired or none of that. But he's the one who mentioned the fact that she worked for Princeton and that he knows where she works. He pulled her information, had her file up there, had a picture from the Princeton website, everything. He got in trouble for that shit. So outside of Vlad TV exploiting black people for his own personal gain, he also has a lot of microaggressions that he uses, obviously. This is why I say, in order to have this conversation, you gotta lay the groundwork of where he is, which speaks a lot about Swerve Strickland. Swerve was the main one who said he did not want to be considered a black wrestler. This came out of his fucking mouth. Okay.
I remember a couple years ago when we were doing when we were talking about the top 50 black wrestlers list or something.
Oh my god.
Oh, how the fuck I remember, because
fucking mad because Carmelo got rated higher than him. That's literally what he's mad about, if we're gonna be for real.
like I remember that, and like you guys were going off about it, and I'm like, well, what's his problem? And that's when you said that he doesn't want to be on the, because I got a lot of problems with Swerve. I think he can be real ignorant sometimes, but look, I know I'm white. I am the white girl of the show. I get that, okay? But like, don't be sitting up here shitting on the people who are helping you in the first fucking place. Like, you're mad because Carmelo Hayes got better. Yeah, because he's better than you. Like, let's be fucking real.
The thing with Swerve and my biggest problem is that he's problematic, and I don't think people understand. And what I gathered from his time with Hit Row was that he was a problem in their group. And to this day, I stand by that because I know for a fact, like, when you see other people shining in other companies, it was never in no issue. A lot of wrestlers congratulated the other people when they have been champion for a long period of time, when they have won their first title. Like, I remember when Tony won the AEW Women's Championship the first time, it was a lot of wrestlers on in a lot of different companies congratulating her, including WWE. So, like, my thing is, when Swerve won that title, it was crickets from AJ Francis, from Ashanti the Adonis, and from B-Fab. Nothing. I heard nothing from nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, these are people you was in the trenches with. Then I remember AJ Francis used to adamantly reiterate that the original people in the group of Hit Row were just B-Fab, Adonis, and him. They were the original 03, the original OGs is what they call themselves, original three. And I was like, huh, I wonder how he got put in the group to begin with. I really do. But
But I can I just say my piece because my husband just texted me and he is flying in at 11, so I'm gonna have to duck out a little early.
mm-hmm.
But because I also feel like you and Nicole could have a better conversation about this because, like, to me, I'm just like the outsider. But like, Swerve needs to shut up. Honestly, like, is he a good wrestler? Yes, I will say he's a very good wrestler. I don't think he deserves all the fucking hype that he gets strictly because he is acting like he is changing the curve up or something, and he's not. I mean, he went over to AEW and it took what's that guy's name? Prince something. I don't know the guy's name. Prince Nana or whatever.
It is Prince
Yeah.
Nana.
Mm-hmm.
It took him doing a stupid little dance that went viral for people to pay attention. And I just wish like people would see. And I know it's like from because we do this, we watch the news, we keep up with everything. That certain people that they're so high up on do not deserve to be put on the platform that they are getting put on. You know what I'm saying? Like Swerve being upset because he's not number one on a list, and then he wants to come out and say that he doesn't want to just be seen as a black wrestler, but he is doing a persona on TV that is very for y'all's culture, but then he wants to take a shit on said same culture and be like, don't put me on that list, don't let me in with these group of people. And I just find that very weird. And AJ Francis is a very nice guy. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him. B-Fab seems to mind her own business at the end of the day, which I love. So does Ashanti. Like, and AJ Francis is killing it in TNA right now. Like, he is
Yeah.
such a good heel. He is doing so good. And people are like, oh, he's corny. I'm like, well, you know what? Half of y'all's favorites are probably corny to somebody else. So shut the fuck up about that. But I don't get what Swerve's problem is. It seems like he has an issue with everything and he gets pissed off very easily. And the clip that I sent in was him talking about like Booker T being called the N-word by Vince McMahon back in the day. And I'm just like, what? What is that? Why are you even bringing that up? First of all, that was 20 freaking years ago. Booker probably wasn't cool with it because as soon as he said that, I thought about all the shit that Booker and Triple H, when we thought maybe Booker was going to win at WrestleMania over Triple H, and how messed up that storyline was back then and now. And I'm not even talking about watching it with like the PC glasses that everyone says everybody's wearing anymore. It was wrong then, it's wrong now. And I
Right.
still stand down that Booker should have won that. He should have won at WrestleMania over Triple H. But back then, you have to look at who was in charge and who thought this was okay and blah, 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 blah. I can't speak for that. Okay. But you can't get on the internet and start bitching and whining and moaning because shit's not going your way. Like, what is his fucking problem?
I think that he believes he's better than what he is.
But he's not. It is one thing to think that you're so great, your shit don't stink, but you also have to be humble at certain points in your career. Like, if you were so great, why did you get let go by WWE? When you got to AEW, it was freaking crickets. No one cared that you were in AEW. Maybe like 3 or 4 people did, but the people we hang out with, the people we talk to, they didn't care that he was on there. They
A
were just
lot of
like,
people still don't, if we're being honest.
a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, he's here, great. Okay, Tony, like, how much did you pay him for this shit?" And then like they make him like AEW World Champion, and it's just like he's not setting the bar, he's not moving the meter, he's not doing any of that shit, and it just seems like he's really, really bitter. And then it's just like him shitting on a community that even still in wrestling today is still a small majority, which is really sad when you fucking think about it, even though black wrestlers are more talented than half the white folks running around on the main roster.
Well,
That's a different story for another day though. But it's like he's mad that they're putting him into this category of people who are black wrestlers, and he's like, I don't want to be a black wrestler. Well, what the fuck are you then, man?
I think my problem and like Nicole's now and a lot of other people is that now he's leaning into it. Before he didn't want it when the community was smaller, but now that he's on the grand stage, now he wants to utilize that he's a black wrestler and that he's the first black AEW champion. And I was like, it's an accolade that you should be proud of. True enough. Problem I have is you will weaponize your blackness when you need to, when it benefits you. And that's a problem for me
See,
because
don't like that. I don't
it's
fuck that.
that's what he's been doing these last couple of years. Right after the list situation came out and he started to get some traction in AEW, he did that interview on that podcast where he was like, I did more for the black community than most people know or than I can count, just doing weirdo shit. And he's been being very back and forth with this shit ever since then. And I'm just not a fan. I don't like the behavior. I don't like now because rap music is cool again or because you want to liken yourself to be a rapper. Fam, I have said this so many times. Rap music isn't art. You gotta be able, you got it or you don't. And you don't. You don't got it. You don't got it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? John Cena is not a rapper. He talks at it, but he's not a rapper. Like, you know what I'm saying? He never claimed to be. He knows his place. You need to know your place too. To further this conversation, and Alexis, if you need to leave, I fully understand that. So I got you, sis.
Okay, y'all
But
have a great rest of your night. I gotta go pick up my husband. I'll talk to y'all later.
all right, bye.
Goodbye.
To further this conversation, AJ Francis was commenting on the Unlikely podcast with um, Adrian Hernandez. And I'm only going to play this clip because this is his podcast. And shout out to him because this is his and it's not mine. I want to make that very clear. This is not property of Down for the Count, but this is on Twitter. And we're playing it from Twitter so you can see this. But this is what AJ Francis was saying in reference to something that was mentioned by Swerve Strickland. Okay.
I'm aggressive. I'm aggressive because I stand up for my people. Come on, man. That's some bullshit. That should be pissing me off because it's like, to me, it's like, ain't that what you want? Ain't that what you want?
You'd want your friends to help you out,
Like, y'all
hold you down.
Y'all wanted me to see B-Fab get fired and then be like, chalk it up to the game. No, that's corny as fuck. That's corny. I'm not a corny ass nigga. I'm not a lame. That's corny. Me and B-Fab and Tahuti was in them trenches all the time, coming up with concepts that we wouldn't even get to use, storyline ideas that were ignored, hours upon hours on the road. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm supposed to just be cool with her being gone? And clearly, she's back and doing everything. So clearly, I was fucking right.
He was.
But I say that I'm supposedly the asshole.
Yeah.
So stand on it. If you are the person that said I was aggressive or I was that, stand on it. Because I got a couple ideas. I know who the people were. I've never been confirmed. But if it's exactly who I think it is, which I think it is, I got some shit to say about them too. So stand on it. You got something to say about me or anything that I've done? Stand on it. Say it with your whole chest, capital letters. Say it. And I'm gonna be right there to address it. Fuck out of here, man. These niggas got me fucked up. I done been too successful in too many different avenues to give a fuck about what these cornballs think about me. Like, if I'm the bad guy, right? I'm the bad guy. Somebody asked Vlad to ask Swerve why Tahuti and Brianna don't talk to him.
Uh-oh.
Since I'm the bad guy, why is it that me and her and Tahuti was talking today about this foolishness? Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna, where's my phone?
He started crashing out. So funny.
I'm gonna go watch that on YouTube.
I'm gonna go watch it too because he is.
I need to hear what he said.
He is rightfully so. He is rightfully so crashing out because I would crash the fuck out because I'd be like, "You got me really fucked up right now. Like I'm so tired." So like he is crashing out, but he's right.
Somebody got to let Swerve know. Somebody got to. And it's too many of y'all fans. Yep. Too many of y'all fans blowing smoke up Swerve's ass every 2 seconds. I'm tired of that. I was looking at the comments too. Y'all niggas is wildin'. For real. Y'all like, why you in your feelings? All he said was you was aggressive. He was talking about what somebody else said to him. Why would he even bring him up?
And what do you look like calling another black man aggressive?
Aggressive. You know damn well that that's not true. Like, what is wrong with you? They on the internet talking about he embarrassing. Why you talking about real wrestlers? Are you pink slip? Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Y'all are really out here sucking on Swerve, and Swerve don't give a shit about y'all. All he care about is being popular. That's all he care about. He do not care about anything else. Y'all are some whole weirdos. Hold on a second. I need to find that clip so I can get that video. I want to see it. It's only 14 minutes that he put up. The whole interview must be behind another paywall, like the Vlad stuff. So, anywho, is this? Let's go into the tweet AJ Francis put up. He said, apparently I was an aggressive black man for standing up for a black woman, and I'll be that time and time again. I've yet to see AJ Francis switch up on anybody. He has never switched up on anything that he has ever said. He has always stood 10 toes down. And he was right about Brianna. He was right about her. And he has always advocated for that woman every chance he got. And black women in general, he's one of the very few black wrestlers that I've seen that will advocate for black women every single time. Exactly. That's my guy. I love AJ Francis. Okay. According to Fightful Wrestling, it says during an interview with DJ Blast, Swerve Strickland explained why he got bullshitted around at the WWE PC. They're trying to tell me how to entertain 400 people in NXT when I just entertained 6,000 in the stadium. This is where his arrogance comes into play. This is what I was telling Alexis earlier. This is how you understand that you're not as smart as you believe. WWE has an entire marketing team. They have focus groups. They have a whole thing where they have to assess what is best for them in terms of putting on talent. They have a specific way that they wrestle in order to protect the wrestlers, but also in order so that everybody can see it. Yeah, they got cameras everywhere, but if you notice, a lot of times they are very focused on hard cam, right? That means you got to turn a specific way so that you can be seen. You have to have a lot of ring awareness so you can understand what needs to be shown. And sometimes the cameramen don't get there in time to be able to see what needs to be seen. That is why a lot of times when they get ready to do a specific spot, they are often always on the right hand side of the ring because that's where hard cam is. Okay? It ain't about teaching you how to entertain. It's about teaching you how to wrestle and entertain WWE's way. And I think that's where you got it fucked up. This is what I'm talking about. If you are that dumb to the point where you can't, sit down and take instruction, then you don't need to be here. It's either you got dropped on your head too many times in Lucha Underground, or you really don't understand. And I'm starting to believe the problem wasn't just WWE, the problem was you too. Like, I think he was low key, like Peppermint Patty was. Y'all remember Velveteen Dream? Acting a damn fool, thought he knew everything, thought he had everything. And Velveteen Dream was problematic. The only difference is Velveteen Dream was entertaining enough that WWE put up with his nonsense. You, on the other hand, I seem to believe that you're very quiet with your bullshit until you don't have to be. And I don't like that. I don't like how you feel safe being able to say the type of shit that you say, especially when it's loud and wrong. It's just loud and wrong. I really want to know what AJ Francis said today. I really want to know
Because he
because
was crashing out.
I need to know. I need to know what he said.
I know his fingers were hot typing.
Right? Because there's
No, he wasn't even typing. He was screaming, sending voice memos.
Like, I really want to know.
He's like, fuck that nigga, man, fuck him.
Yeah,
They're like, whoa. It's like, relax.
this nigga is mad.
It's like he's mad as fuck.
He is salty, bro. Like, I genuinely want to know. I'm very, 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 very curious because ain't no way. But those are all the things that have been said across the internet. And here's the thing. I see a lot of fans defending Swerve and his antics. The bottom line is when Swerve finally falls out of favor, his behavior is going to change because it no longer suits the narrative that he needs in order for him to be on top. I generally don't understand the logic behind his arrogance, right? There are people who have been world champion many times over, and I've never seen them act or behave in this way. Never. And I just feel like you seem to think that you now are invaluable and you aren't. You can be replaced. You have to make yourself invaluable. There's no way you're going to go anywhere else and be as as great as you believe you are. That's not going to happen. You were able to be successful because you were put in the position to do so. You were able to be successful because they gave you a chance, just like so many other people who were able to be successful because they were given a chance. The difference is you have no long lasting longevity, and your character work would not work outside of AEW. Whereas your female counterpart in Tony Storm, who actually is superior to you, if we're being fair. Tony has the ability to work in any company she wants to, and wherever she goes, she's going to add value and elevate where she is. You are just going to be a pawn in the game. She's going to be the queen controlling the board. There's levels, and you don't understand your place. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful, I mean that to be for real. MJF was world champion at one point too. What is he doing right now? That's worthwhile if we're being fair. His most recent feud with Adam Page was okay. Wasn't anything to write home about. You can't tell me that you believe that you somehow have added something to the culture, like you've reset it. It comes across like you think you're changing the world because you were AEW world champion. And I hate to break it to you, but that's just not true. Did you add something by being AEW world champion? Yes, you were the first in a company that had never had a black champion in the top slot. So congratulations. Now what? What are we doing now? What are we gonna do? You go on Vlad TV and talk about Booker T like he's some bootlicking bitch. To put it in perspective, you heard Vince McMahon say this to Booker T, and then you turned around some years later and signed up to work there. What happened? Did the narrative change because you were working there? He still called him the N word, like he still called him a nigga. He still said it. So what was the difference when you actually signed the dotted line for the contract? Did it mean something then? Because you didn't have any integrity then, if we're going to be fair. You signed the contract to work for WWE after you heard this man call Booker T the N word, and now you're sitting here on Vlad TV some years later after you've left and claimed you've gotten to the top of the mountain. Now you're bringing it up as if it means something. Hmm. Maybe I'm crazy. Nicole?
I just think it's just crazy. Everything about this is just literally insane. He is such an insane person to me. Like legitimately. Like just a balls to the wall like insane person to me. He just has no rhyme or reason, and I don't understand how people can't see past so much of it. Like it just boggles my mind, and I'm like, what are you all seeing? I was like, what kind of hive mind mentality did he like start that sucked all you in? Like, absolutely, what the fuck is going on? I
The,
feel like
the
I feel
comments
like
I
I'm in a
see,
horror movie.
yeah, the comments I see when it comes to Swerve, they're very protective of him. And I don't know why.
I just don't care. It's just like, shut up.
They seem to
Like,
be very, very protective of him.
well,
And they
I'm glad.
call
I'm glad they're taking up for their Pookie.
they call AJ Francis a lame, saying he ain't shit. They talk about his wrestling, and I'm just like, there's plenty of bad wrestlers who y'all advocate for. AJ Francis isn't that bad. Here I tighten up on some things, but he's not a bad wrestler at all. We talked about this before, but the problem was back some months ago, everybody was talking about how WWE had no more black talent in the top. During that time, Bianca was tag team champion with Jade. You had all the black talent over in NXT were either Latino or black at the top of the mountain. And they said it didn't count because it was NXT. Nobody cared. And I'm just like, they're like, well, AEW is doing it. They got black talent. The black talent is moving in AEW. During that time, AEW had Swerve Strickland as champion, and in Ring of Honor, Athena was champion. But she still is, by the way. She's like 832 days as champion.
Yeah, something like that.
Which shout out to her because that's amazing. And that's the barometer by which they were measuring the WWE. By one black world champion, and then later on they had Private Party, which they didn't even let Private Party smell those titles long enough as tag team champions. And that was it. It was a Swerve Strickland's champion. They doing it right. So my question is, what does representation look like to you? What does it mean to you? Because if all you care about is the main championship with a black person holding it, and I don't think you really understand what representation means. I think you're confused. You just want a black person at the top of the mountain. That's different from representation. Representation implies true thought and input into what this person could be doing and how that person could influence and impact the masses later on down the line. Bianca Belair is an excellent example of that. She has been pushed harder than most of those women could dream of. She's had a better trajectory in her career than Rhea Ripley has, if we're being fair. And she has been champion more times over than I can count. And she is still one of the biggest draws in that women's division. She always shows up and shows out in every single match. She is a true embodiment of what representation means and what it looks like. So is Jade, so is Naomi when it comes to black women and women as a whole. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, the list goes on. These women represent what women can do in terms of being a draw for the roster, having that need and innate need. Liv Morgan too. I don't want to leave Liv out because Liv Morgan has done her big one at making herself a prominent fixture on this roster. Okay, these women are sought after heavily. Think about when Alexa Bliss was out and had her baby, and she came back at the Rumble this year. That was one of the biggest pops I've seen in a very long time. The representation and what you see when people react to them proves their draw and their capabilities. That also lends a lot of credence in how they could be represented on TV and what we see. The same thing goes for the men. When they are presented in the proper light and given the opportunity to be seen, they always show out and it is worthwhile. Think about the Street Profits. Street Profits finally get those tag team titles back after 4 years. And every city that they have gone in, including the one that they won the titles in, were chanting, "You deserve it," loud, and giving them everything that they can think of. And that in itself should prove the draw of the Street Profits, what they're capable of, and what they should be doing with them going forward. I hate to quote Vince McMahon here, but in order for you to understand, you have to go by what he said. He said they have a focus group. The focus group is a WWE universe. They will respond and tell you what they like and what they don't. And we do. We're very vocal about that. And you can see it. And sometimes they'll pivot and sometimes they'll be like, wait, let's give it a little bit. Let it rest a little bit. Let it marinate, see where it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? When I think about representation, I think about what it means later on down the line for the new people coming in, for the young girls who are watching TV. Like I said, I mentioned Bianca Belair before. Not only are little black girls walking around with long braided ponytails claiming they're the EST, little white girls are doing it, Latina girls are doing it, little Asian girls are doing it. Every year for Halloween, she is one of the top girls in the E that everybody dresses up as well as Rhea Ripley. And I'm sure Liv Morgan ain't gonna be too far behind as long as they don't put them little girls in them hot pants. Don't put them babies in them hot pants, okay? Don't do that. Y'all can dress up like Liv without doing that. But they are the embodiment of what representation means and what it should look like. That's what I'm saying. Do I think Swerve Strickland
Not
is
the hot pants.
no, they can't put them little babies in no hot pants, child. Do I
I've
think
seen a cute like proper little girl live
mm-mm.
costumes.
As long as they ain't got on no hot pants, I'm cool.
I've
Well, here's
seen
my my thing is with Swerve Strickland is he seems to think that he's better than everybody else.
yeah.
That he has achieved a pinnacle that nobody else can touch. The day he leave AEW, he's gonna get a rude awakening. I'm telling you right now. He is coddled and he is safe. So he says the most outlandish avant-garde shit. And you know what? He gonna say some shit one day that's gonna piss somebody off. I hope it's AJ Francis. I don't think AJ Francis got mad enough. But he gonna say some shit one day to piss somebody off, and they gonna blow up his spot, and he ain't gonna be able to recover from that shit.
No.
All that I ask is that y'all use y'all brains and stop defending people you don't know. I'm not saying you can't be on his side and stand 10 toes down with your favorite, but you have to be realistic. These people are also portraying characters on TV. The character you might like, but the person behind the character you probably would hate in real life. I'm just saying.
False idols.
I'm just saying. Y'all gotta tighten up. At the end of the day, this is TV. And yes, I understand people are talking their, being more vocal and telling their truth. And I understand that. But at the same time, Swerve Strickland is one of those type of dudes that goes with what makes him the most likable. He's not being honest. Because in true reality, he don't give a fuck about being a black man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He don't. He don't care about that. He only care about it when it affects him, when he has to, and when he can use it to his advantage. Because him being the first black champ, that means something. He's the first. So he gotta say that. That's money. But when his own people was acknowledging him and he didn't like the level of acknowledgement, He shut it down. It was disrespectful. Until I see some different behavior from him, I'm not gonna believe this I'm 10 toes down for black people bullshit. I'm just not. You ain't gotta be like AJ Francis. AJ Francis is vocal because that's who he is. That's just the type of man that he is. He not gonna tolerate no disrespect on his people, and he not gonna tolerate no disrespect on black women. And I love him for that. But everybody not gonna be like AJ Francis. And I don't expect you to be. But what I expect is that you have respect for the culture and not use it for your own personal gain and then denounce it when you have a need, when you feel like you no longer have any need for it. That's the type of shit I want you to back up from. Other than that, I wish you the best. And I really don't want to talk about you no more on this podcast. I really don't. Nicole, you
Yes or
got
no?
last words?
Nope. I'm good.
I just don't. I'm not. I want people to be very clear about what representation means to them. So if y'all are listening to this, where whatever platform you're listening to it on, I want to hear in the comments. I want you to type it out. Tell me what you think representation means to you, or what it should look like to you. Because I will tell you this: if one black man being champion in that company, and they have over 6 different titles, and only one black man can be champion in that company at one time, and you believe that that somehow is representation, then we have a problem. You have a big problem. If you see a black woman in that company succeeding and you don't acknowledge her representation, you only acknowledge his, we have another problem. I think y'all should really take a step back and rethink what representation means. And I'm serious. You comment in the comments and tell us what you think it means or what it should look like. We're going to get out of here.
Because high key, Athena should be allowed to fight for one of them belts. She should be able to fight Tony and Mercedes when she wants to.
Facts.
Oh, I would cook with that booking. Tony, if you hire me, I will eat that story up. I would gag folks.
We'll be sitting up here crying like everybody was doing when Tony and Mariah May had their battle. That was a good fight, by the way. It really was.
Yeah, them hoes did a good job.
All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Y'all make sure to follow us on all our socials. It is always scrolling at the bottom if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, y'all know the drill. You can find us at Down for the Count 19 on Twitter, or you can find us at D4TC _ podcast on Instagram. We will see you guys next time. Hopefully, next week, I can get Midwest Melanin Mafia on here.
Oh, Lord.
And I can give the girls a break this week like I did last week, and we can get Midwest Melanin Mafia over here and we can chit chat. Alexis, if you want to come when we do Midwest Melanin Mafia, you can. I don't have a problem with that. But I will try my best to
You just
get
have to eat a self-tanner that day.
yeah.
Go watch one of Mandy's videos for a bit.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go. Outro's gonna play, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Down for the count.